in a small village surrounded by green fields and tall trees. Two childhood friends lived side by side. Their names were Ramit and Akram. Since their early years, they had shared their meals, their joys, and even their sorrows. The people of the village often praised their friendship, calling it an unbreakable bond. Yet, beneath this outward picture of companionship, there was a difference hidden in their hearts that no one could see. Ramit was a man of honesty, patience, and hard work. He believed in earning with dignity, sharing with others, and trusting in the will of God. Akram, however, was quite the opposite. He was impatient, greedy, and dishonest by nature. Though he showed affection toward Ramit, his heart was filled with selfish desires. One morning, while sitting under the shade of a tree, Akram suggested that they should try something different to earn money. "Ramit," he said, "we have always been working here in the village. Why don't we go to the forest tomorrow, cut some wood, and sell it in the market? It will give us some extra income, and maybe we can save something for the future." Ramit, being a simple and hardworking man, liked the idea and agreed at once. He said, "Yes, Akram, that sounds good. Let us work hard, and perhaps God will bless us with His mercy." The very next day, they took their axes and went deep into the forest. The tall trees stood quietly, and the forest was filled with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. Both of them began cutting wood. Sweat ran down their foreheads, and the sun slowly moved toward the west. By evening, they had gathered a good bundle of wood. As they prepared to leave, Akram noticed something unusual lying under a large old tree. "Look, Ramit," he called out. "What is that over there?" They both walked closer and saw a wooden chest, half covered in dust and dry leaves. The lock was rusty, and the chest seemed to have been there for many years. Excited Akram bent down and started clearing the dirt, while Ramit looked on with curiosity. Finally, with combined effort, they forced the chest open. To their astonishment, it was filled with gold, coins shiny, heavy, and countless in number. For a moment, both stood silent, staring at the treasure that lay before them. Ramit's first instinct was gratitude. He lifted his hands and said softly, "All praise belongs to Allah, who shows us miracles of His creation. But Akram, this is surely a test for us." His eyes were calm and thoughtful. Akram, on the other hand, could hardly control his excitement. His eyes glittered brighter than the gold itself. He exclaimed, "Ramit, do you see what fortune has fallen into our hands? We are rich now. We no longer need to work like poor men. Let us divide this treasure right here, half for you and half for me, and we shall live in comfort forever." But Ramit shook his head. His voice was firm, yet gentle. "No, Akram, this gold is not ours. It must belong to someone. Perhaps a traveler hid it here, or maybe it was stolen and left behind. We cannot take it for ourselves. The right thing to do is to take it to the village chief. He will make an announcement. If no rightful owner comes forward, then it will be divided in a fair way among the people." These words struck Akram like a heavy stone. He forced a smile, but inside his heart boiled with anger and greed. He thought, "Ramit is always preaching about honesty and fairness. But why should I share this treasure with the whole village? Why should I let anyone else take what I have found? If I could get rid of Ramit, this entire chest would belong to me alone." As they prepared to leave the forest, Ramit was still thanking God for his blessings, while Akram walked beside him silently, lost in his own wicked thoughts. The greed inside him had already started weaving dark plans. His mind whispered over and over again, "I must find a way. I must find a way to claim all this gold for myself." Thus, under the quiet sky of the evening, two friends walked back from the forest, one with a heart filled with honesty and gratitude, the other with greed and betrayal growing like a poisonous seed inside him. Neither of them knew that this chest of gold would change their lives forever, testing the limits of friendship, loyalty, and morality. The night after finding the chest of gold, Akram could hardly sleep, while Ramit lay peacefully, trusting in God's plan. Akram tossed and turned, his mind burning with thoughts of wealth. He imagined himself living in a grand house, wearing fine clothes, and being admired by everyone in the village. Yet every time Ramit's words echoed in his mind, "This treasure is not ours. We must give it to the chief." His greed grew stronger. He thought bitterly, "Ramet is standing in the way of my fortune. If only he were not here, I could claim it all." By morning, Akram had already formed a plan. As they walked toward the forest again to collect the wood and secure the chest, Akram said in a soft, persuasive voice, "Ramet, yesterday was a long and tiring day. We worked hard and still have to think what to do with this chest. Before we decide, why don't we eat something together in the forest? I will go back to the village and bring food. You wait here beside the chest so no one else finds it." Ramet, always trusting his friend, agreed without hesitation. He smiled and said, "Very well, Akram. Go quickly and return soon. I will guard the chest." Akram walked back toward the village, but not with the intention of bringing food alone. Instead, he went to the market and bought bread and meat. Then, slipping away from the crowd, he took out a small packet of poison he had hidden before. He mixed a deadly powder into the food, whispering to himself, "Once Ramet eats this, he will never trouble me again. The gold will be mine and mine alone." Meanwhile, Ramet remained by the chest under the old tree. He looked at the treasure, but his heart felt no greed. Instead, he was worried. He prayed silently, "O Lord, guide me to do what is right. Do not let this wealth become a curse. Protect me from temptation and from all harm." As he prayed, he grew hungry. On the branches above him hung wild fruits. He plucked some and ate them, his hunger satisfied, and then waited patiently for Akram's return. At last, Akram came back, carrying the food with a smile that hid his wicked plan. "Brother Rahmat said cheerfully, 'I have brought us a fine meal. Let us eat together before we carry this chest back.'" He laid the food on the ground and pushed it toward Ramet. Ramet, still full from the fruit he had eaten earlier, said kindly, "You have gone through the trouble of bringing this, but I am not hungry now. You eat, Akram. I will have some later." Akram's face stiffened for a moment. Inside, he panicked. What if Ramet refuses to eat? What if he becomes suspicious? He tried to insist, "No, Ramet. We must share together. At least take a little bite." But Ramet laughed gently and shook his head. "I promise, Akram. I am full. You go ahead." "You must be hungry after walking so much." Akram hesitated. His stomach growled, and the smell of the food tempted him. He thought, "Perhaps I should eat first. Later, I will find another chance to make him eat." With this thought, he began to eat. At first, everything seemed fine. But soon, a strange sensation gripped him. His hands trembled, his chest tightened, and his eyes widened in horror. The poison he had mixed was now burning through his own body. Ramet jumped to his side, alarmed. "Akram, what is happening to you?" he cried. But Akram could not speak. Foam gathered at his lips, his body convulsed, and within moments he fell lifeless to the ground. The food lay scattered beside him, the poisoned bread untouched by Ramet. Ramet sat stunned, tears filling his eyes. He realized the truth. His friend had betrayed him, and his greed had led to his own destruction. Ramet whispered sorrowfully, "Oh Akram, if only you had chosen honesty over greed, we would still have been brothers and friends. Wealth is nothing when compared to life and trust." The next morning Ramat lifted the chest of gold and took it to the village chief. He stood before the people and told them the whole story, hiding nothing. The chief, impressed by his honesty, announced the discovery publicly. Days passed, and no rightful owner came forward. At last, the chief divided the treasure fairly among the villagers, and Ramat received only his share. Yet in the eyes of the people, he gained far more than gold. He earned respect, love, and the reputation of being the most trustworthy man in the village. Akram's tale, however, became a warning passed down to the children of the village. Parents would say, "Do not be like Akram, who allowed greed to blind his eyes. Learn from Ramet, whose honesty saved him from harm." And so, the chest of gold brought not just wealth, but also a lesson that lived on. Greed destroys, while honesty always brings peace and honor.